Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me today. We are going to do 15 minutes of yoga stretching specifically for athletes. This yoga flow targets the shoulders, hips, and hamstrings, so make sure you have plenty of water and I'll meet you on the mat.
We'll begin in a comfortable child's pose. Bring the big toes together, spread the knees wide, and sink the hips back towards the heels. Relax the upper body over the thighs and reach the arms long in front of you with the fingers spread wide. Begin to focus on the breath. Lengthen each inhale and control each exhale. And set an intention to focus on the breath throughout the rest of this yoga flow. Inhale and shift up to a tabletop position, and we'll begin to move through cat and cow. With each inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, shift the gaze up, and with each exhale, tuck the tailbone round through the spine and release the head. Allow the pace of your breath to dictate the pace at which you move between cat and cow. And take this time to really work out the back and release all the tension stored throughout the spine. Tuck the toes and send the hips up and back for a downward facing dog. Draw the heart towards the thighs for a straight line from the wrists to the tailbone. Bend into the right knee, stretching out the left leg. And then switch legs. Look between the hands and then walk the feet up to meet them in a forward fold. Let the upper body release and hang heavy over the thighs, and grab opposite elbow with opposite hand. You want about 60% of the weight in the toes, 40% in the heels, so that you can really stretch out the entirety of the backs of the legs. Release the elbows, place the hands on the shins. Inhale, come up to a flat back. Exhale, release. And inhale, roll to rise. Reach once you get all the way to the top. Let the hands come together and down in front of the heart. Step to the top of the mat, place the hands on the hips, draw the elbows together and lift the chest. Big step back with the right foot, open the hips wide towards the long side of the mat and reach with the hands at shoulder height for a warrior two. Press the knee towards the pinky side of the foot in order to keep your foundation strong. Flip that front palm forward, reach forward, and then reverse your warrior. Right hand can be on the hip or the thigh for some extra support. Come back to warrior two, reach forward, and then the elbow will come down to the knee. Right hand reaches up for a side angle. Engage the core to support your foundation here. Come on back up, warrior two, straighten into the front leg, and then immediately reach up and back to reverse your triangle here. Come back to neutral arms and then reach forward. Left hand comes down to the shin, ankle, or mat. Right hand reaches high, triangle pose. Look down, plant the hands back on the mat, and step the left foot back, downward facing dog. Walk those feet up to a forward fold, hands on shins, inhale, flat back. Release, and then reverse swan dive all the way up. Then hands come together and down in front of the heart. Again, step to the top of the mat, hands on the hips, lift the heart. This time, left foot takes a big step back, open those hips wide, reach those arms out at shoulder height, warrior two. Flip that front palm forward, reach, and then reverse your warrior. Again, left hand can come to the hip or the thigh for some extra support here. Come on back to warrior two. Reach forward, and then again, elbow comes down to the knee. Left hand reaches for a side angle pose. Again, engage that core and lift that heart. Come on back up, straighten into the front leg, and then immediately reach up and back with the right hand, reversing your triangle. Come on back to neutral arms, reach forward with those right fingertips, then release them down to the shin, ankle, or mat. Reach up through the left hand, triangle pose. Look down, place the hands on the mat, and step it back, downward facing dog. Then walk the feet up to a forward fold, move through a half lift, and then reverse swan dive all the way to the top. Then bring the hands together and down in front of the heart. Once again, step up to the top of the mat, hands on the hips, heart lifted. Right foot steps back again. This time we keep our hips squared towards the top of the mat and reach up for a crescent pose. Left hand comes down to the hip, and with the right hand reach up and lean back into the shoulder blades for a slight back bend here. Inhale, come back upright, reach up, straighten into the front leg, bump that back foot back, and then we'll hinge at the hips, reach forward, and then fold over the front leg for a pyramid pose. Actively square the hips towards the top of the mat here. Bend into the front leg, step it back, downward facing dog, and then walk the feet up to a forward fold once again. Move through your half lift and then reverse swan dive up and meet back, hands at heart center. Again, come to the top of the mat, hands on the hips, heart lifted. This time, left foot takes a big step back, again, all 10 toes towards the top of the mat, hips squared forward. Reach for a crescent pose. This time, right hand comes to the hip, reach up, then lean back into the shoulder blades. Inhale, come on back up, straighten into the front leg, and then bump that back foot up just a little bit. Square those hips forward, hinge, and then fold over the front leg for a pyramid pose on the other side. Let your upper body relax here. Square those hips forward. Plant the hands, bend the front knee, and step it back, downward facing dog. Pause here for a moment, and then walk the feet back up to a forward fold. Move through your half lift to rise all the way up, and then bring the hands together in front of the heart. This time we'll take a big step back with the right foot, turn all 10 toes towards the long side of the mat, stand up tall, and then hinge at the hips to fold forward. Interlace the hands behind the back and then lift the fists up and away from the tailbone, coming into a yoga mudra bind. Lead the hands over to the right side, lifting the heart open to the left, getting a nice isolated stretch. Then come back to center. Interlace the fingers with your opposite finger forward, and then allow the fists to go over to the left side, opening the heart towards the right for the isolated stretch on the other side. Come back to center, release the hands to the tailbone, and then release them to the mat. Do some shoulder rolls here, and then we'll walk the hands to the right corner of the mat, keeping strong in our wide-legged forward fold. Come back to center, pause here for just a moment. Then we'll walk the hands to the left corner of the mat. Again, we want to keep our hips as neutral as possible here. Go ahead and bend into the left knee, square forward and step it back, downward dog. Inhale, lift the right foot, bring the knee to the nose and sweep the heel towards the left hand and walk the back foot back for a pigeon pose. Focus on keeping your breath steady. Pigeon pose is a rather difficult pose to stay calm in, but the more you focus on the breath, the easier it becomes. Tuck the back toes, lift the hips so you can pull that right leg out into a downward dog. And then we'll inhale, bring the left foot up and back. Bring the knee to the nose, sweep that heel towards the right hand, and then walk the right foot back, coming into pigeon on the other side. Again, find your breath here. Focus on relaxing the muscles in this intense pose. Tuck those back toes, lift the hips up and back, and pull that left leg out for a downward dog. Pedal your dog here by bending into one knee and then the next. Then bend the knees, let them come down to the mat and sink the hips back, coming into child's pose once more. Draw the left hand in just a little bit and lift yourself enough to thread that right arm through to the left side, coming down onto the right shoulder. Inhale, reach the left arm high, flip the palm behind you, and then wrap the hand around the low back for a nice little spinal twist. Release your wrap, reach, and then let the left hand come back down to the mat. Press yourself up to pull the right hand out and come back to a neutral child's pose. This time, right hand comes in so you can thread the left arm through to the right side, coming on to the left shoulder. Reach the right arm up, flip that palm behind, and then wrap around the low back. Release your bind and reach up with the right hand, and then let it come back down to the mat. Press yourself up and then come back to a neutral child's pose. Allow yourself to start to slow down here. Relax all of your muscles and let gravity gently press you further into this child's pose. Walk the hands back in towards the hips, coming to upright, and then transition to a comfortable seated position. Right hand comes to belly, left hand comes to heart, and begin to control your breath. Lengthen the inhale for 4 counts, and control the exhale for 4 counts. Know that your breath is a tool that you can tap into at any time. Focus on the breath and find your stillness. Bring the hands together in front of the heart and gently open the eyes. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for practicing with me today. If you enjoyed our yoga flow, please go check out some of my other videos on my channel. Make sure to follow, and then head on over to kelseyannyoga.com where you can find some tips and tricks on yoga through my blog, as well as find all of my social media links. Thank you guys so much. Can't wait till next time.